Microphone, two bald guys and a microphone. Along bringing in the morning time to rise and shine. Open up your eyes to awaken your mind. Need to make the day count, need to get in the zone. Tune in, the two bald guys and a microphone. Introducing Coach Papa Tim Stewart's his name. Pay attention to his wisdom, it'll raise your game. He wants to see a better world, so he plays his part. Always loving, always giving, cause he's got a big heart. The co-host won't boast, but he can stand on his own. From the state of Iowa, it's that man Kent Jones. He's impressive on the mic and he don't need a cord. And whether hosting or he's hooping, he's controlling the boards. And the one feeding a hungry herd of Americans, make you feel right at home like he's your best friend. Though he's not a city slicker, he's as cool as the fun. Just a witty wisdom giver, Mr. Rancher Run. Set the tone for your day and get in the zone. Tune in to
Two bald guys and a microphone.
Is it Monday morning already?
It is.
6 a.m.
It is. It's
Holy
been
moly.
one just thing after another, but here we are, live on the
You
air.
made it. You got in. Great weekend.
Great, yeah.
you
4
had,
days. 4 days out in the world of
Yeah.
Oregon, Illinois.
Yeah.
At a retreat house with some of my very good friends. I made this retreat as a candidate in May, and then
Yeah.
I went back to serve. And the first place you serve is in the kitchen. I'm like, all right, I get to go cook, So I wasn't super excited going out there.
Yeah.
Well, when I got there, what I found out, the cooks really have, or the kitchen teams really have three responsibilities. Obviously, you prepare meals, you clean up from the meals, and then when you're not doing one of those two things, you're in the chapel praying for the speaker who's on. And it was probably more powerful for me than it was the first time out, and just rejuvenating, rebirth.
That is good stuff. Oh, of course, quick shout out to our good friends over at Natural Therapy Wellness Center. They do it all: massage therapy, reflexology, acupuncture, Thai yoga. Just a great bunch of people. Check them out at www.mchenrymassage.com or 815-385-8190 is where you can get a hold of them.
The only thing that was missing from this weekend was having John out there for a massage. That would have been that would have made it perfect. But.
Would have been perfect. The Cursillo weekends are great. Now that's the Catholic Cursillo, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
A lot of them in the non-denominational world call it the Tres Dias. But it's the same concept.
Yeah. Good stuff. Those are always good weekends. Absolutely. And a great way to wrap up our series on the fourth quarter.
Getting ready to go into the end of the year, all rejuvenated,
ready to rock and roll. And then again, fourth quarter. Fourth quarters
make $1.
There you go. So this is one of the things that we talked about last week a little bit was how to unplug, how to rejuvenate. You coming out of a weekend like that, how long do you ride that wave, right? Because you're in it, it's washed over you, whether it's a Cursillo, whether it's
Emmaus,
or just it's a weekend man camp or a weekend with Anthony Robbins or something like that, where you are away from the typical daily grind, and you're plugging into something. Good morning, Lisa. How are you? And all of a sudden you come out of it, you got the big S on your chest, you're feeling great. How long does something like that how long of a wave do you ride there?
When I came out as a candidate, and I went through, and then you become a cursista. And you get out there. It was more of that the boost that the race car driver puts in,
nitrous.
Right. And then you after a little while, all that energy coming out of this weekend, it's different because it was let's live our life this way.
Yeah.
And so you're not coming out high, you're coming out. Our spiritual director was this young deacon by the name of Chris Olson. had a beard. He's a deer hunter. He had it, he wore his camouflage stuff all weekend. But sitting with that young man was just, it was incredible. And we didn't get that, that pump of juice. You didn't get that, shot of caffeine. It was more of let's do it this way. And I believe this time coming out from serving at the Cursillo is different. I feel different. I feel like just ready to step into the world and be who I am. Instead of a lot of times I have to repress myself in groups because I get a little bit goofy at times.
Yeah.
When I did my Cursillo weekend, you don't have any watches. There are no clocks in the place. You don't know what time it is. Yet the rector, the guy who was running it, he'd say, "All right, we'll be back here at 10:15." And I would go, "Excuse me? Yeah. How do we know when it's 10:15? What do you mean? We don't have watches." And he'd be like, "Well, about 10:15." And throughout the entire weekend, he was a schedule guy. He's a retired lieutenant colonel.
Yeah.
And he'd say, "Okay, we'll return at 11:37."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "About 11:37?" Well, it was every time, and I got under his skin a little bit. He finally said, "Okay, stop that." I said, "Stop opening the door for me." I said, I'm that guy. I'm going to walk through the door.
That's right.
And then we had a guy at the end of it. You share your experience. The candidates share their experience. And we had a guy that I want to have on this show. This guy, if he's not a stand-up comedian, he should be, because, oh my God, everybody was laughing so hard with this guy. Cool. But he also nailed it right on the thing. He'd take you right to the edge, and then he'd pull in something serious. The guy was brilliant.
Nice. So you think this one's going to last a week, 3 weeks?
It's a lifetime.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
it's hard to tell, right? I mean, just that euphoric feeling, you come out ready to tackle the world. But a great time to do it, because the way you finish this year is the way you start next year, and the way everything kind of rolls and moves. It's awesome. I think, which is good for me. It all depends on where I'm at and what I'm doing. A lot of times I call a lot of bullshit with what's out there. You go to one of these. I love. Boy, it was probably close to 20 years ago when I did my Cursillo, and it's still, it's a cool thing. But you go to what do I want to say? If you go to a weekend, where you get pumped up, like with an Anthony Robbins or something like that, there tends to be a lot of, as I'm sitting there, questions and, okay, this is great, this is bullshit. Right. And so there's a lot of skepticism, I guess you would say. But going into something like that, how do you prepare to go into something like that?
Well, as a candidate going in, and know this, you really can't, because they don't tell you anything.
Yeah.
You go in and they just kind of launch right into the program. Once you've been through and you come back, and then you get a understand what role you play.
Yeah.
And I obviously can't wait to get into the speaker's chair, but everybody works the kitchen the first time.
Yeah, it's a Catholic thing. Yeah.
And it was powerful. I mean, it was guys working together. None of us were cooks, but we sure made some incredible meals. Simply because we had a recipe to follow, and everybody pulled their share. There wasn't that one guy who would come in and open a can and then disappear for 6 hours like in the military.
Yeah, that's what I love about. I don't just want to say the Catholic Church, but that's what I love about organizations is, hey, you got to earn your stripes. Hey, no, you don't. If you're the guy who should be the speaker, to get up there, and run it. And that's a whole different. That could be a whole system. That could be a whole series we could do.
Yeah.
But for me, going to those type of weekends, going to a going to an Anthony Robbins, going to a Mel Robbins, going to a lot of motivational speakers, and you're spending thousands of dollars to do that, to quote unquote better yourself. You got to go in there looking for one nugget, just one. There has to be something, has to be a reason why you're going, because you're going to get sprayed information like a fire hose on you, right? And there's 5,000-10,000 people there with you, maybe not on the weekend you had, but how do you narrow down that one nugget? You've coached a lot of business owners. You've coached a lot of people, not athletically, but how do you help people narrow down that one nugget? And I guess why I'm bringing that up is here in the fourth quarter, maybe it's that one nugget you need to focus on to finish, to finish this race, right?
For me, I keep copious notes.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what they're saying, no matter what they're doing, I'm writing things down, because there is so much that you can't get it. Now, from my Cursillo weekend, the one thing I took away that I wrote down and I really try to live is Christ and I are an overwhelming majority. That statement to me was powerful. It's like Bill Whittington talking about Michael Jordan. He said, yeah, that was the night Michael Jordan and I scored 64 points. I had one.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
And you walk out of there, and this weekend, I came away with just a newfound connection to what I was the only one in all the meetings who had my notebook out and was taking notes and writing them down. And then at the end of the weekend, I reflect over those, and I'll reflect over them for the next couple of weeks. And then I'll find that one nugget that's in there. I mean, I wrote it down, but they came with something else so quick that I may have skimmed right over it at the moment. But going back and reliving it as I'm reflecting on it, I'll find that thing. And when I do, I'll let you know.
Yeah. Lisa says there's Tony Robbins' show on Netflix, and a lady sold literally everything she owned to be there. Is that the You're Not My Guru? I know you had me watch that, Lisa, which was very good. I think it was, or I'm Not Your Guru, or whatever it's called. Yeah. And then what? Yeah. Thanks, Lisa. And then what? I've sold everything. And this guy is not they're not the Messiah. You know, God bless her. And who knows? I mean, at one point we all know the Anthony Robbins story he was sleeping in a bathtub and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Right. So there's, who knows, right? But maybe she runs the world now. It's hard saying. But I think too many times as we're sitting, as we're game planning, as we're taking a look at, the fourth quarter, we're taking a look at the task at hand of anything. There are people who in your life, even if you own your own business, even if you are the boss, there are outside influences that people are going to be pointing you and trying to give you their 3 cents and say, this is what. There's going to be CEOs that you may have to report to who absolutely positively think they know the right way to do it and the right thing to do. And listen, they're going to try to throw a bunch of information at you. And if you're not steadfast enough, if you're not secure enough in your sole purpose and your sole focus, and you understand which one nugget, you can be easily distracted. And here in the fourth quarter, whatever it is, whether the fourth quarter of any project, goal, life, whatever the case may be, there's that piece that you have to be able to say, this is my focus, my sole focus. And this is what I'm going to, this is the hill I'm going to die on, so to speak, right? Lisa says, well, I agree with you, but there are people on such a search for hope that they look where they can't. Yeah, absolutely. And those people, the Brenda Bouchards, the Anthony Robbins, the Darren Hardys, they're magnificent. Listen to what I'm saying. Magnificent marketers, right?
Yeah,
that's what they are. There is not, and I will repeat, there is not any new ideas out there. All the ideas have pretty well been had. People expand on them and tweak them and whatnot,
reword them.
But what you're going there for, what you're going there for, it's you've heard it. You've already heard it, right? You may hear it in a different way, but you've already heard it. And I'm not trying to poo-poo on those.
Right. And I spent a lot of time the first weekend and went back into it this time in Proverbs. And a lot of those stuff those guys are saying, it's right there, right from the gratitude stuff that everybody's like, oh, look at this new thing. Let's do all this gratitude. No, that was taken 2,000 years ago.
Right.
It was life. Life is about taking something that works for you and applying it on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Being consistent, being committed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely, Lisa. Lisa says that I just feel there's a difference between re-speaking quotes and heartfelt discovery on life journey.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying. There's it's like it's like a rock band, right? So these speakers, these people who put on these extravagant weekends that you spend $5,000 for and you go for, it's like going to watch a rock band. Right? They sing the same songs all the time. You're hoping that you hear maybe one new nugget or something like that, or you're just going there to get blitzed out of your mind and not be able to hear for the next 5 days. Right? And it's that piece that you're truly going for. You're not going to hear the same 12 songs that you've played on your car radio every day.
The people who go to the same musicians concert over the Parrot Heads, go to wherever Jimmy Buffett shows up, and Dave Matthews Band, and then they all have a lot of followers. But again, you're right. You're hearing the same song over and over that you could put in your flash drive and have it in your computer, and you're gonna play it in your headphones while you're working it. But going there and experiencing that and being in the community is a powerful connection. But if you don't walk away with something, why are you there? This lady that sold everything to go to an Anthony Robbins deal, she was committed, right? There's a good chance she took away what she needed because, well, she had no other choice.
Yeah.
Or maybe she wanted to sleep in a bathtub to see if it worked for her also. But at the end of the day, you've got to find something. You have to commit to it. The problem we have today is there's so much information out there. There's, how many books are you up to this year?
Yeah, 60 something, almost 70.
Right. And each and every one of those has some cool things. But if you tried to do every one of the best nuggets out of 70 books, you'd drive yourself nuts.
That's right. Happy anniversary. Absolutely. I thought about you guys this morning. So Jen says, give a shout out to expert Mike for me. Today's our 21st anniversary, and he's consistent and committed, kind husband. He's good looking too.
Yeah, and you can finally have a drink.
Yeah,
you're 21.
A marriage drink. Yep, absolutely. Happy Craichie-versary. That's what I call that. Nice job. 21 years is not to be laughed at. That's a lot of work right there. And congratulations. And hopefully 21, 22, 23, and so on more. Right. Lisa says it's the energy people feel in those groups, the excitement and the high vibration of the energy around you. Your body absorbs it and it makes you believe. Yeah. But at the same time, if you're like me, Lisa, and you're a bit,
Skeptical?
no,
No?
not skeptical, but hey, good morning, Shayna. Is when you're kind of empathic and you suck up a lot of that energy, it's not those vibrations are a whole different weird. I know you know that, Lisa, very well. And those big crowds and things, yeah. Yeah, I know. That's why I said that. Because I'm the same way. I went to my first concert this year. It was the Dustin Lynch concert, and it was because I volunteered. otherwise I wouldn't have been there, right? And I literally, this is just a 53 years old, very first concert ever, outside of like a band playing at a bar. I mean, a big name concert, right? And I'm just sitting there watching all three acts, because there were three acts. I think Zach Miller was there, and I forget who else. But anyway, and I'm just sitting here going, I don't get it. People just getting snookered and sloppy drunk, and people pushing into each other. I mean, they're all having a wonderful time.
Yeah.
But I sat back, because of course I was security. I sat back and I'm like, I don't get it. Now, my brother and his wife, they go to 20, 30 concerts a year. That's their thing. They don't go golfing or anything, they love going to concerts. And I'm just like, I don't get it. I just don't get it. But hey, that's me, right?
I've emceed several concerts for many years. I was the guy at Fiesta Days and Family Faith Night, and I'm with you.
Amen to that.
It would be I would hand off the microphone to them, and then I would get as far away as I could.
Yeah,
I'd go out in the parking lot and hang out with the parking lot people.
Lisa's the same way as we are. I mean, put us up on stage in front of thousands, no big deal.
Exactly.
Sit us in the pool.
Please put us up on stage in front of them.
Throw us into that what I love that she says, that bipolar vortex. Absolutely, it's brutal. Are we talking floating anxiety of the collective? People are walking around trigger ready. Oh yeah, no. What we're kind of what we're doing is wrapping up a little bit of the fourth quarter, and just saying that if you're going to a weekend or you're going to spend money, if you're working on something, focus in on that one thing, right? Yeah. I had a great mentor when I was young, John Redmanovich, and he says, when you go in to a meeting, go in with just looking for just one thing, because everybody's going to spew a lot of information. Mm-hmm. But what is that one thing that you're looking for out of this, right? And if you don't know, if you can't answer that, don't go. Because you're going to get way overwhelmed. Jen says, hey, I'm the same way, Lisa. In crowds, bipolar vortex. And then Judy Ann, wow, is that Tim Stewart?
Good morning,
the
Juju.
One, the only,
the man, the myth, the legend.
That's right.
Hey, Juju, how are you?
There you go. So but yeah, Shayna, to your point, people are walking around with their hands on their holsters,
right?
And oh, that set me off.
And the problem, so a lot of times, most of the time, is you go in there and you get all that energy, and you're all fired up because you're in a bunch of people, a room with a bunch of people who feel the same way you do, and then you go out and you bring it to your friends and say, oh, you're not gonna believe this, and you just fire hose them, and the next thing you know, they're walking out of the room and you don't see them for like 5 weeks.
Right.
They're like, every time you walk in the room, you can just see them walking out the other side.
Yeah. What just happened there? Oh boy. Oh yeah. Here comes Coach. He was at another weekend. Yeah. And that's how you move. You should move through life, but whatever you're working on, whatever it is you're trying to get better at personally, if you're, At your place of employment, whether you own the job, whether you just are working the job, again, how many times have we, okay, Tim, I need you to do this, A, B, C. And then the guy above me comes up and says, Tim, I need you to do this, E, F, G. And then the owner, she comes up and goes, Tim, I need you to do X, Y, Z.
And then I'm like, OMG.
and all of a sudden, then I come back, I go, what are you doing? You're working X, Y, Z. You're supposed to be doing A, B, C. And it's this big thing. And as an employee, if you are just an employee, then we don't know which way to go. And we don't have enough guts a lot of times to talk. We're not secure enough in our foundation to look at the owner and go, listen, Mrs. Owner, I appreciate what you're saying. Can you talk to the other two people who aren't obviously talking to each other, who want me to do A, B, C, and E, F, G? Because you want X, Y, Z. So what I'm getting here is three different conflicting things. And too many times we would just go like this. F it. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. Screw this. You guys are all idiots. And then I get written up because I haven't done anything. And then I go, yeah, but, right? If you understand what you're working on, that goal, what it is that you're trying to push and produce, you have to be able to be secure enough in your foundation and who you are and the abilities that you have to either call BS or tell them, listen, I'm not going to do that because my direct report said I have to do A, B, C. You guys figure that out.
When I walked into Allfelt Products as the new plant manager, I had a meeting of my teams, and it's like, all right, you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this. And then I had some specific things I had to get done. I went and did my things, and I came back, and every one of them's doing something different.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you doing? Well, Frank came out. I said, I hadn't met Frank yet. Who's Frank?
Who's Frank?
Frank's the head of sales, and he got a call from one of his customers, and he needs this right now. Well, Frank and I had a meeting that day, and it's like, Frank, everything comes through me. Well, I couldn't find you. You didn't look.
Right.
You haven't met me. You don't know me. They said, but if we're going to get control of this organization, everything has to flow through me, because of that, they're confused. And that's one of the reasons my plants, whenever I was in charge, we outproduced everybody else, because I stopped that type of thing right in the beginning.
Processes. Absolutely.
But it's the culture was the former plant manager was a screw off. That's why he wasn't there anymore. And he was more than happy to have them come out and run the business.
Yeah. Lisa says, I've learned to become the observer rather than the absorber in most things now. It lets me learn without the overwhelm or feeling I need to program.
I think that's why I take as many notes as I do. Because if you're trying to remember all of this stuff they're throwing at you, you're going to explode.
Yeah. And I agree, Shannon. The bipolar vortex has to be on a sweatshirt, a hoodie. It actually look good on a hoodie. And you could get the do the Restoration 1 circle on there.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. Yeah, I like that. I like what you say there too. The observer rather than the absorber, and that's a good thing. But so many times in life we're afraid to open our mouth. So many times in life we're not ready to, we aren't ready to really just say, BS. No, this is the job you hired me to do. This is the job I'm going to do. Let me do it. Right. So many times people are afraid of, you should always hire people who are better than you.
Yeah.
And then they're afraid of that because I'm afraid you're going to take my job. I hope you take my job. Right. That means I've done a good job.
And I can move on to my next gig. And that's
right.
A lesson you learned very early in the military is you have to be able to perform the jobs of 2 levels under you and 1 level above you.
Yeah.
Because obviously, turnover can happen very quickly in that environment.
And it does.
When you get out into the civilian environment, you don't want to teach anybody under you your job because, well, if they learn it, you're expendable and they have to pay them less.
Yeah.
So you hold everything tight to your chest and nothing gets done.
Yeah, Shana says it's interesting to me that not everyone works backwards from the goal. If I didn't, I would find 27 other paths on the way.
It's like solving the maze.
Yeah, a lot of that reverse engineering is a big thing, and it helps you narrow down your focus, and if you're shooting a bow and arrow at a target, and you're down, it goes down a little left, you're gonna, okay, let me readjust my sight, but where the end goal is. You're trying to hit that bullseye, and I think that I think that a lot of times people in upper management don't reverse engineer it. I've got a revenue bottom line that we have to hit, and by gosh, the only way I know how is hire more people, work longer hours, and go. And I don't want to hear anything else. I listen. I'm in the C-suite. I know it all. You look at me.
Look at me, right? Look at me.
Yeah. My office smells like rich mahogany. Look how good I am. And the same way as you're finishing, as you're going hard to cross the line of that goal, is to even stay even more focused on that reverse engineer, because as you're getting closer, there's going to be there's going to be distractions, there's going to be hurdles, and I'm telling you, and I'm preaching to the choir of everybody who's listening out there, that listen, once you get close, more and more and more obstacles, more things happen. Flat tires on your car going to work. You go and find out that you've got cancer. You know what I'm saying? There's something there's always something.
Life happens. There was a gentleman at the retreat this weekend, and he was one of the speakers at my retreat, and he had kind of a shaky voice, and his story was great, but it was kind of hard to listen to him. This time he was there. He showed up in a wheelchair. He had just started battling cancer the first time, and this time he could hardly stand, but he still came and he still did the presentation, and he still worked against the advice of some people in his life. And his story was incredible. And who knows if he's even going to be here for the next one. But to see him continue to go out and live life and push through the obstacles and the challenge that life has given him just tells me, I got some stuff going on. I got to go on. I got an appointment with a vascular guy on Thursday to figure out, how we take care of these cloggings in my carotid arteries.
Yeah.
My knee is torched from this weekend because I'm too stupid to sit down.
Yeah, I can see that.
And there's some things going on, but I need to move through. I don't have a choice.
Well, see, so that's what I mean. So the gentleman there who's in his last lap, if we could say that, maybe not, maybe there's a miracle, maybe something happens. To me, distraction.
Yeah.
Right. That's me personally. Oh God, here's Bill. Gee, oh, Pete's sakes, got the oxygen going, the walker, the wheelchair. Oh, tell me, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's me personally, because I haven't been there.
Okay.
Right. I haven't been in his shoes. You know what I'm saying? Maybe when I'm in his shoes, that's what I would be doing too. Try to reach a lot of people. Right. But personally, I would go, oh God, distraction.
Let's go back to the last show you did with Rancher Ron. When he was, we wanted to believe he was Superman because he was, he was incredible. He fought through, but as he was getting weaker, our conversations that used to last 30, 35 minutes were like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like, but Ron, I have more to say. I'm getting a little bit tired now. I need to move on. And I see what you're saying, but I guess it's the head and the heart. thing.
It's like who's the guy? He was born without any arms or legs. He has a flipper. You know what I'm saying? It's a little great motivational speaker.
I know who you're talking about.
I the name escapes me right now. He's got a little beard going on, and every time this guy comes on, because I'm probably an empath, I'm like, how does he get his shirt on? Right, and he hops around up on that table, and I just go, what if his nose itches? These are the questions that run through my head, as weird as they may be. Okay, I think he's got a butt. I don't know, but wouldn't he just fall in the toilet? So I'm sitting here, and even though I'm sure it's a great message, very distracting. Very distracting. I know I'll probably go to hell for that. But it's the truth. Those are the things that go through my mind, right? It's like when you're talking to somebody and they've got a piece of meat from their lunch on their cheek or something. It's just distracting, right? You just keep looking at that like, oh my gosh, could you just wipe that off, right?
One of my really good friends, Bobby Oxby,
Vucevic or something his name is, right? Yeah.
Bobby had an accident when he was young, and both his eyes worked, but not together.
Oh boy!
So he would be.
So he looks like a puppet.
He would be focused on you with one eye, and the other eye is over here, and then he'd look at you with this eye, and this eye would go over here, and he knew that, and he would do it on purpose.
Lisa says, "Kent, you need to learn to quiet your inner 12-year-old when needed." I don't know. That's just the way that I think. That's the hard thing.
Well, halfway through here, let's give another shout out to Natural Therapy and Wellness Center, McHenryMassage.com, 815-385-8190. Get over and see John Peterson and his crew. They are just absolutely fantastic of listening to you, understanding where the issue is, and throwing the right therapy on it, whether it's massage therapy, reflexology, acupuncture, Thai yoga massage, whatever you need to relax and get some of the stress out of your life. If you're stressed, go see Natural Therapy Wellness Center and be blessed.
Yeah, it's Nick Vujicic. Absolutely love him, Nick. Come on the show. Thanks for listening.
Not sure how you get up there,
he's a brilliant speaker. That's why I say if I'm listening, or if I'm listening to a podcast or something, brilliant guy, great message. But if I'm watching, those are the questions that run through my mind, right? Those are the questions. Lisa says, a little doesn't make you good. Some work their way there. Some disagreed their way there. Doesn't make you smart. Some inherited through DNA their way there, and so on, so on, so on. So observing the person and their actions and character will take you farther, because you will choose people to learn from that have the same core beliefs as you. Yeah.
And I think that's why I connected to Zig Ziglar so much early, is that his one statement. If you just help enough other people get what they want out of life, you'll automatically get what you want out of life. And that's always been a driving philosophy of mine, is serving others. And that statement really felt
a title. Sorry, I said a little. Sorry, a title. A title doesn't make you good. There you go. Yeah, I can't read good. I'm very distracted.
That was distracting.
I'm very distracting. I can make that bigger. Maybe. There we go. That's better for me. There we go. All right. Yeah. A title. There you go.
You're being called out here, bud.
That's all right. Hey, listen. Thanks for tuning in. I love everybody starting their Monday mornings with us. And now you're gonna. Yeah, I love that too. George Carlin is my patron saint. He's brilliant.
One of my favorite Carlin lines was, I found it the last place I looked. Well, yeah, be a flippin' idiot if you kept looking after you found it.
Right. It's right. It's the little things.
Deplane, boss. Deplane.
It's the little things. So as you're rolling out the fourth quarter, I guess take time, figure it out, but no, absolutely 100% no. The one thing that you need to focus on. life is very distracting.
What's that one thing for you? What are you focused on right now?
I'm focused on hiring people. That's what I need.
You need people.
I need people. I need people here at the radio station. I need people over at the bank. So the big thing to me is just getting people. Yeah, that's how I move forward, by multiplying myself through others.
Amen.
That is the one thing. That's the one thing. So if you're out there, at least I know, just call me. Just pick up the phone and call me. I'll call you back. I always say that I will, and I never do because I'm very busy and crazy.
He's distracted. He can't watch the little
Or
guy.
call Coach, whatever.
815-403-8870.
That's it. But yeah, so really the fourth quarter, no, I reply in my head. I just see, but there's another thing. If somebody texts you, do you need to text back? It's like getting the last word.
Well, speaking of being unplugged this weekend.
Yeah, Judy says, talk to her. She says, yeah, I can at the radio. Let's do it.
Absolutely. I put the phone in the car, left it out there.
Yeah.
Saturday night, I had to call April because there's this Polanka thing we do that, you write these letters. I wrote all these letters and they were great. They were well penned. A lot of thought went into them, and I left them home. But she was coming down to Oregon because this weekend she's doing her Curcio weekend, and she's actually one of the speakers for it.
Nice. Hey, Bill. Good morning.
And I'm like, could you bring my Polanka letters down? Well, I turned my phone on. There was like 17 text messages. And I glanced down at him, and only one of the 17 was important.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, dude, talk to you on Monday. Don't put it back.
Right.
Bill Haase.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I should. Well, you got to get people who want to interview first. At least it says you should hire a good intuitive to help you interview. Yeah, but we need people to apply and want to work. That's a whole another issue here in these United States of America.
That is
we
not
ain't got enough time for that.
That's like 2 or 3 series going
right.
forward.
Absolutely.
And coaching 6th grade boys basketball right now. And seeing what the social impact of these last 2 years is having on these 6th graders who just don't know how to interact. It's a challenge.
Well, that's a whole different thing too, because I would and this is what I love about American people. The last 2 years has very, very little to do with how they interact. If they're in what grade did you say?
6th grade.
Sixth grade. Yeah, they know how to interact, and it's not blame the parents, blame society. It's not
blame the pandemic. Everybody
because they interact and communicate more than we ever did because they have the world at their fingertips, and so the interpersonal
maybe
skills,
I should start coaching through the phone.
Yep, the interpersonal skills, that's a learned behavior, and they're probably my kids. We'll take my kids for example, aren't perfect, but I never talk to them like you do a dog. And ever since they were little, if there was an adult that was talking to them, you teach them, hey, pay attention, don't fidget, look them in the eye and speak to them. And so I don't. That's got a lot to do with the people who are raising, air quotes, those kids.
Not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that I'm dealing with 24 of them right now, and it's they're a handful.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and having coached at this level for a lot of years, many years. Matter of fact, the tie I wore to the first basketball game, the kids were like, "Oh, cool, that's a basketball tie." Yeah, I wore that in 1986 to my first 6th grade boys basketball game.
It's interesting that they knew what a tie was.
Yeah, that was. Well, one of them actually on game day wears a tie.
There you go.
Good looking young man. Yeah. But it's just different. Today, I can feel it. It's just there's something.
That's because you're old. Let's be.
There's that.
The old whippersnapper. Hey, oh gosh. Oh, here comes the old guy again. He's going to tell us about the telephone on the wall. Here it is. Oh, yep. We never lost our telephones growing up.
They're right there.
They're right there on the flip side.
4 screws to get them out of the wall.
Yeah,
It was really cool. They kind of slid up and down to come off.
You had to. Yeah. Unless you had a tabletop one. Hey, Mabel, connect me. There you go. So tell me a little bit about today. Of course, All Hallows Eve, Halloween. Are you a big Halloween guy?
No, there was a couple of years, maybe in our late 20s, early 30s, where we went to couples Halloween parties, and they never did anything to me. Although the Elviras and stuff who would show up in their almost costumes were interesting.
Yeah.
But no, we have a tendency to do other things on Halloween.
Yeah, I'm not. People are, oh, you're a party pooper. I don't get it. I don't get the adults who. I mean, this is like their Super Bowl, man. They look forward to going out and dressing up and going to a party and getting teenage drunk.
Yeah,
and they're not, right. I mean, it's an interesting time for me. I get it as a kid. Hey, dress up, have fun, go to parties, get a bunch of candy. Cool, all good, right? But I'm seeing people my age just posting all these pictures. Hey, we're the Black Eyed Peas. Oh, real original. That's great. This is so great. And they're there with 2 beers in each hand and a couple of White Claws. And I'm like, good for you. I hope tomorrow's a good day. I don't get it. I don't get it. The veil is thin. It's a good time to connect to spirit if you choose. Yeah, well, I think the veil has been thin for quite some time.
And thinning out.
People just choose not to communicate. It's so true. So true. The costumes are so pornish. When did that happen? I didn't get out much. I don't get out much. And Damon says it's their way of keeping the kid in them alive. I listen, it's the stupid in them, maybe. Now, Joe from In the Know with Steph and Joe, it's his birthday today. So happy birthday, number 1, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
But number 2 is he and his wife are a set of adults and I mean, they go 100%. I mean, he's grown out his hair so he could shave the middle bald because he's going as an old man. And I mean, so for what is he, 30 something maybe? So for a guy in his 30s to shave your head.
Thank you, Joe. I'll take that as a sign of respect.
It's amazing. It's amazing to me. But yes, oh my gosh, I was sitting outside of what is that, Halloween Spirit, that store that pops up around the 4th of July and starts selling costumes, because Lucy wanted to run in and grab a mask. So her and Alice went in, and I'm sitting out there watching these kids, I'll call them, and that's what I was like, whoa, no way would my daughter walk out of the house like that. No. I don't care.
But it's Halloween. I can look like it.
Nope.
What did it cost you to put a costume together when you were young? I mean, for me, Mom would grab some of Dad's old jeans and a flannel shirt, and I'd go as a hobo.
Right.
Yeah. My grandson just paid $46 for a Halloween costume.
Yeah. No. I would. What you have, the plastic mask with the little little thing around.
It'd be like, you couldn't see all the holes because they're.
I would go as Scooby-Doo, and then you had like this paper thin costume you put over your clothes.
Right.
And then I was like Scooby-Doo. But seeing that I had 3 older brothers, I was, Scooby-Doo that looked like he'd been homeless for a long time. Oh, you can fit into this one, and there's candy stuck on the inside from my brother's past Halloweens. And, you're like, I don't know. I don't like it. Yeah, you're going to wear it.
You will be Scooby-Doo.
Your brothers were all Scooby-Doo. So I got at one time I was probably Superman with an Incredible Hulk body, just because I was the fourth. It was like, well, here, you're gonna be Superman.
Let's put this mask with this.
You can't be Superman, remember? Oh, well, then here, just put on this Incredible Hulk body. You'll be Superman Hulk,
Super Hulk.
And I was that guy. But here's the middle school where Lucy goes, they're able to dress up today. However, we get an email home saying, yep, you can absolutely dress up. It's a safety issue, so no masks allowed. Anyone want to take that? Safety issue, no masks allowed.
And moving on.
How about that? I was like,
87% of the school came as surgeons today.
Isn't it ironic? Yeah, I don't know. The bars they do. The bars do have contests, and some of the costumes are extremely.
And why elaborate. Do they? Do they love Halloween, or is it just to sell more?
Spend that'll get people in and spend. Back in the day, Shana says, I brought some eggs to strategically disperse in the JC's haunted house. When I lifted my arm to throw a monster in the rafters, grabbed my hands and crushed the egg. Well played, monster. That's a pretty quick monster to be able to do that.
Well, I'm sure they'd experienced that before.
Well, and now you can't do that because the price of eggs, man. You gotta take out a second mortgage if you're gonna go egging nowadays.
My granddad was custodian at the local school, and Halloween was a time for pranks. And one of the annual pranks was the boys would come in and they'd lift the merry-go-round off the bearings and set it off, and then Granddad would have to figure out how to put it back on. Well, one Halloween, he went up and stood on the top of the school with M80s, and he saw him sneaking in the yard. He waited till they got their hands on it. He just started chucking M80s.
Pop, 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 pop. That's good. Anyway, it's you got to protect.
That's it. Protect your territory. The fourth quarter. We're winding down to the fourth quarter of the fourth quarter show. We're in the last few minutes here, and I think just to sum up what we've talked about. Have a plan. The plan you had at the beginning of the year might have altered, might have changed. Mm-hmm. Life might have happened. There might be a diagnosis of something. There might be a new baby coming along, a wedding, an engagement, all kinds of things from life get thrown at us. But have your plan. We had a saying in the military called rigidly flexible. Be rigidly, stick to the plan, but not if it's gone off the rails, right? If something's happened, adjust. Sometimes you may need to just scrap it and start over, but sit down and take a look. I didn't think I'd be here. What do I need to do for the next few days, for the next few months to get this all back on track?
Lisa says, have a great miracle blessed week, everyone. Yeah, I think this is a great time of year. A lot of things happening. Also here in Learn to Swerve. Also here in the final couple months of this year, again, is I want to put this out there, is the most lonely. We see more suicides, depression, anxiety. Listen, if you're out there, and no joke, I know we like to kid around, but no joke. If you're in that space, you know, a lot of people don't know this, and that's why I want to put it out there. You can just dial 988.
988.
And somebody will be there to talk with you, to help you out. It's a huge thing. if you have, if you know of somebody who has said that, but maybe doesn't feel comfortable talking to y'all, that you can text, you can do whatever. But 988 is just a great number where nobody will be judged and you'll be listened to. It's that important. Anxiety, depression is no laughing matter, and we have to be able to take it as seriously as we possibly can. But just know that you're not alone, and there's always a voice out there if you just dial 988.
In 45 years of coaching over 5,000 athletes, I've had to deal with 3 suicide athletes over those years, and those are the most difficult times. We go through. The person who's in the middle of it thinks that this is their answer, but what it does to the people around them, the impact it has on the community. Slow down and just realize you're important. You're important to many people, and something may be wrong. Those people will help you through this. I've never been to that area, so I can't empathize with someone in that predicament. But I do know if you need someone to talk to, feel free to reach out, contact the show, give us your number. We'll touch. But 988, 2019 was when it was proposed. Why 988? They just figured it's an easy number to remember.
Easy number to remember. Listen, folks, we're doing a lot here. Every one of the shows that are on 216 The Net has some sort of podcast. We ask everybody out there, like, subscribe, follow. We've got things out on Twitter. We've got things on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook. But most importantly, if one of the best things you can do for us to increase our listenership and our ability to touch people is, go right out to 216thenet.com and just listen live. So www.216thenet.com. Listen live. It helps us out on the backside of it as well. We'll be having we're in the process right now of getting a widget put out there that you can put on your phone. I guess it's not an app, it's a widget, but you'll be able to listen live by just pressing on the widget, which is in process of being made right now. So to everybody out there who is out there listening and hustling and tuning in on a Monday morning, we appreciate you more than anything. You help make our fourth quarter worth it. And we're going to continue to stretch, strive, push, bring new talent, new shows, new ideas to the plate, and we're excited to have y'all with us. So,
Amen. Coming off of a sleep-deprived weekend, that's quite often, almost every Sunday night I can count on not a good night's sleep. Last night, I hit the rack, and this morning when the alarm went off, I was like, in that confused state. What is that? What is that noise? But I will tell you, whatever it takes, whoever show it is, Steph and Joe, to the questions you never thought you could ask in church, Reject Rundown, whatever show it is, the hosts of those shows are excited to bring you their content, their topics, and it's well worth the time to just hang out with us, to get caught in the net.
Yep. And if you know somebody who has great content and or you want to do a show, let us know. Contact us, talk to us, and we'll open up the conversation. We absolutely love to. We're about that time, 1 minute in. Again, another shout out to our good friends over at Natural Therapy Wellness Center, www.mchenrymassage.com, 815-385-8190. Check them out. Listen, if you're stressed in this fourth quarter, no better place to go than there. They can get rid of a lot of that stress just through a deep tissue massage or some sort of massage that you go, oh, I had no idea.
Just a suggestion. I think I need to get in there.
That's it. But for all of us here at 216 The Net, thanks for getting caught in the net with us here this morning. And it's until we meet again, be good, but more importantly, be good to one another.
And I am Tim Stewart. I'm Coach Bob, and it's time for you to get off the bench and get back in the game.